So, for this section, this is section 10.4, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be simplifying or solving equations with radicals. So, the first example is pretty simple on the top left. So, 3 root x equals 27. So, do exactly what we've done before. You divide both sides by 3, and you get square root x equals 9. And after we do square root x equals 9, the next step is squaring both sides. So then you have x equals 81, and that is your final answer. So basically how you solve these is you have to isolate the radical on one side so you can square both sides and then get your final answer. So for this next example, it's a little bit more complicated. So we have to, we just solve it like we would a normal equation. So we add 7, x plus 4 equals 8, and then we square both sides like we did before since the radical is isolated. X plus 4 equals 64, and now we can subtract 4, so x equals 60, and you should always check your answer. So 6 plus 6, so let's plug it in. 60 plus 4 minus 7 equals 1. That's a 1. So 60 plus 4, so we have 64 minus 7 equals 1. And then 8 minus 7 equals 1, which is true. So this is correct. X equals 60. So now, for this next example, we have variables on both sides. So let's try solving this. So since the radical is already isolated on one side, we can square both sides. So x plus 1 equals x. So since this is a minus b, like in parentheses, squared, it's x squared minus 2ab, which is minus 2x, plus 1, since 1 squared is 1. So, and then now we can simplify this whole thing. So we can subtract x from both sides, and then subtract 1 from both sides. So then what we're left with is x squared minus 3x equals 0. And now we can take a GCF out from this. So x times x minus 3 equals 0. And that means that either x equals 0 or x minus 3 equals 0, meaning x equals 3. And now we're going to check the answers like we did before. So let's check 0. 0 plus 1 equals 0 minus 1. So 1, square root 1, equals negative 1. 1 equals negative 1. And that is incorrect. That is x. So this is not a correct solution. Now let's check the other one. So we have 3 plus 1 equals 3 minus 1. And then 4 equals 2. Square root 4, 2 equals 2, which is correct. So the solution is x equals 3. Now let's move on to this last example that we have over here. This is basically the same thing as what we have up here. And I just wanted to show you that again. But so now we have, we subtract 4 from both sides. So we have x plus 2 equals negative 10. And then we square both sides. X plus 2 equals 100. And then x plus 2 equals 100, so x equals 98. But now we have to check the answer. And let's see if there's any problems. So we have 98 plus 2 plus 4 equals negative 6. So square root 100 plus 4 equals negative 6. 10 plus 4 equals negative 6, which is untrue. That's not correct. Meaning this actually has no solution. And that is because since the square root was equivalent to a negative number, which can't happen normally, then there was no solution, and that means that's our answer. But so this is section 10.4. Now let's move on to section 10.5.